Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's show. It is Wednesday, February the 11th. A reminder, we get about 3 minutes of sunlight added every day this month. That's a positive. I'm Johnny Kane. We know the Winter Olympics are underway in Milan Cortina, and that is where we begin our show tonight. You know, there's more than 230 American athletes competing, at least 15 of which call the great state of Michigan home, as does our first guest on the program. That's SportsCaster's Brendan Mato, who graduated from Detroit Catholic Central. He's now a freshman at Notre Dame. And Brendan provides a commentary on what it means to fulfill a dream of becoming an Olympic athlete.
There are countless sporting dreams that little boys and little girls have all across the country, whether it be to play Division I athletics at your favorite university, shooting the game-winning three, walk-off grand slam, Hail Mary touchdown, one-timer slap shot to win it in overtime. But there's one dream that I would argue stands above all the other ones. The epitome of pride, achieved through countless days, months, years of blood, sweat, and tears, will never be touched by any other accomplishment. That is, of course, to stand on top of the podium with a gold medal around your neck while the Star-Spangled Banner plays for all to hear. From SportsCaster.com, I'm Brendan Mato, and with the 2026 Winter Olympics just getting started, let's dive a little bit deeper into achieving what every little athlete dreams of, being a United States Olympian. So, as one might imagine, getting the opportunity to compete in the Winter Olympics is extremely difficult, especially wearing the red, white, and blue. It's safe to say that every athlete that makes it has earned the honor by putting in countless hours of hard work. But how exactly do they get there? You may have seen the U.S. Olympic team trials broadcasted on TV weeks or months before the actual games start. It seems like a pretty intuitive and straightforward thing, but this is only a small part of what makes up the whole Team USA. Especially for the Winter Olympics, the team is mainly selected using the metrics of each sport on the world stage. These world competitions generally take place in the off years for the Olympics, but it's very important that athletes compete well in them because this is how they earn their spot. These are the metrics that are used by their sport's national governing body to make their choices for the Olympic teams. That ties into one of the misconceptions about the Olympic teams. It's not all trials. It's not just the U.S. Olympic Team Committee. These athletes qualify on the world stage. The U.S. Olympic Team Committee just says, yeah, you're eligible, you're not injured. Here's your kit for the red, white, and blue. Since I've alluded to it's Team USA, it's no easy feat because there's a multitude of extremely talented athletes all trying to compete for just a few coveted spots on that Olympic roster. Though nonetheless, 15 athletes from our great state of Michigan are going to compete in Milan this year for Team USA. That's tied for 5th out of all the states in the country for most athletes going overseas. We're tied with Massachusetts, and at number 1 is Colorado, no shocker, with 32, followed by another expected frontrunner. Minnesota has 26, California has 21, and Utah has 17. So here are the athletes who will be representing the mitten in Milan in 2026. 4-time Olympians Evan Bates and Nick Baumgartner make a return to Team USA this year, competing in figure skating and snowboarding respectively. Christina Carrera and Amelia Zingas make their Olympic debuts in figure skating, and Kyla Kuhn and Winter Vanecki are back for their second Olympics in freestyle skiing. Now we got to talk ice hockey. Michigan has some absolute studs that are definitely going to make a name for themselves on the national stage this year. The hometown hero, captain of the Detroit Red Wings, Dylan Larkin, will skate for Team USA this year, joined by Canton natives, the Hughes brothers, Jack and Quinn. Zach Wierenski and Kyle Connor are also on that squad making their Olympic debut. And rounding out the men's team, holding them all together, is the Commerce native Connor Hellebuck, who put on a standout performance in the Four Nations shootout a couple years ago for the NHL. He'll protect the net for the Stars and Stripes this year. On the women's side, Kirsten Sims makes her Olympic debut for the women's team, and she's joined by Farmington Hills legend Megan Keller. So there's much to be excited about for Milan over the next few weeks, especially if you live in the great state of Michigan. I know I certainly will be tuning in, and I hope you all do too. Besides the fact that it's fun to feel the pride of being American and watching with your friends and family, there's so many interesting sports that are so exciting that only get this national coverage once every 4 years. Who knows? You may just find your next hobby, and for the little kids out there, you may just find your next passion. I didn't exactly find a passion for curling, even though I watched a lot of it as a kid. But if you find something you like, go after it. You might just end up on Team USA. That's all from me. Once again, it's been Brendan Mato from SportsCaster.com.
That was Brendan Mato, a freshman at Notre Dame. He's been in the SportsCaster program going back to his high school days at Detroit CC. Coming up on the show, we're going to visit with a longtime Detroit sports writer, Joanne Barnes. No stranger to covering the Olympics. She also shed some light on what it was like covering Barry Sanders, covering Justin Verlander in their prime. That's coming up next here on Open Mic.